wind at our backs. What he did in the first part, I mean, then it was up to Jake Odorizzi to really, make that a significant home run. But I guess, by permitting them to get back into the game like they did, that second one totally took the heat off.
Yeah, how nice was that? I mean, y'all had some pretty good Malox moments over the last week. I mean, it's probably kind of nice to go at 4, right?
Yeah, it is much better to go at 4. It's good for Fernando to get out in that moment to work on a couple things, and overall he pitched pretty well right there. And so again, as he regains his confidence, he's going to get back into the form you saw last year. So it was really perfectly set up by Kelly's home run.
When you say Jake got lost in the moment, what do you mean by that?
Jake Odorizzi?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just the big lead and just unable to really. He's normally a strike thrower, and for me, maybe trying to do too much or not understanding what was going on right there, and just be able to just keep pounding the zone, keep doing what you had been doing, and I thought maybe it sped up on him just a little bit.
Joe, obviously it's one thing to talk about making adjustments, but how much credit does Kelly get for making them? How good a player is he right now?
Well, mega credit, and he is really. I mean, we've talked about that. I really think he's a very, very good athlete. I think that part of his persona is underestimated. He's really good. He runs well. You see the power. I guess he's not this huge guy, but he's got extreme power. He throws well. He's throwing out runners on the bases. He can play several positions. He's just the steal of third base now. People might think, why? Okay, you've got to be safe, but once you're safe, what happens? There's now runners on first and third. James Loney's coming up, the hole's open. That's why a play like that is really a good play if you can be successful with it, but you have to be successful. When the hitters, there's a threat of walking that hitter with a left-handed hitter on deck, and you can steal third base. Go for it. I love it.
Your call or his call?
That was his. It's outstanding.
The margin of victory looks good, but does that mask the fact that this shouldn't have been a close game?
Yeah, I mean, again, we keep making this way more dramatic than it needs to be. Our pitching's still not where we want it to be. I still believe it's going to get there. I mean, fortunately, the offense has performed at a much higher level this year. I mean, obviously, that's really permitted us to absorb some of these moments. But I, too, have faith that the pitching's going to come back to us, and it'd be kind of nice to be able to have the hitters maintain and not, at some point, all of a sudden the pitchers have to pick up the offense.
Realistically, too, though, to think that you're going to lead the majors in offense from April 17th to the end of the year is probably not the safest bet either.
Maybe not, but I'm telling you, look up and down the lineup right now. Zober still has not kicked it in, and he's going to. Matty Joyce is ascending. Escobar, still to me, he's hit the ball as hard as anybody on this team with the lowest batting average, but his last month, average and RBIs are very good. Loney continues. Again, Scotty had been up. He's just kind of struggling. Desmond's not been there yet. So, I mean, I still think there's actually room for improvement out of the offense.
Hey, what did you think of Fernandez? I mean, obviously he didn't have a great game.
Oof.
The 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
I'll tell you, that kid, when he figures it out, is going to be outstanding. I was very, very impressed. Not just because of the stuff. He's got a feel for this whole thing. He's just not out there throwing. He knows how to pitch, and if in fact he is 20 or 21, whatever it's supposed to be, this guy here totally has a feel for pitching. Because I'm telling you, from an observation perspective, if he is that polished at that age, it heads up. It could be like King Felix-esque.
And then obviously you, by having to go to the bullpen early, you were kind of in a wiggle there as to what to do in that middle inning. So Jake for 1.5 or 2 is what your theory was?
Right. I mean, it could have been Lukey, but he had to struggle through his inning.
Right.
So then it had to go to Jake. And then if Jake was unable to do it, then we're going to have to piece it together because I was not just going to be to Peralta.
Were you going to go Peralta 7th and then like Wright or somebody in the 8th?
It was possible. That was definitely a possibility. And I thought about that because whatever that thick part of that, if the middle part of the order was up in the 7th, it could have been Joe and then piece together the 8th before Fernandez.
Because you were going to have to fill one inning in there somewhere.
Correct.
It didn't look like you were going to trust.
We kept trying to turn double plays and didn't do it. I mean, Jake all of a sudden turning into a ground ball pitcher.
Yeah.